Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Will. Welcome to the sixth edition of Sports Urban Legend. I'm of course William Mo. I'm gonna do a special edition tonight of the show, and basically due in part to LeBron James recently signing with the Lakers, and we're gonna talk about how he would stack up potentially after his tenure with the Lakers and in a few years. So we're gonna talk about as of right now, who are the top Lakers of all time. Through my opinion, I'm gonna give you my starting lineup based on the best Lakers players of all time, because they've had at least 20 All Stars. But out of all of those All Stars, who right now are the greatest Lakers of all time? It's gonna be a little controversial because this is my opinion, and this is the best Lakers of all time. Not necessarily the greatest players of all time. That list would be slightly different. So, with that said, I'm going to jump right into it. And, of course, if you like this video, feel free to share it, comment on it, like it, share it, and, of course, hit that notification bell so you could be notified for future episodes. And click that subscribe button so you could be, part of the Legion of Legends and be notified for future episodes. So, with that in mind, let me show you my thoughts on, LeBron James signing with the Lakers. And if you checked out my podcast, Sports Urban Legend, a few weeks ago, I predicted, that he would sign with the Lakers. Because Lakers are basically they're the Lakers. Simply put, they're the Lakers. They're basically like the Yankees of basketball. Even though Celtics currently has one title more than the Celtics right now. The Celtics have 17, Lakers have 16, but throughout LeBron's career, he's always been a front runner. He rooted for the Yankees since the 90s when they were winning all those titles with Derek Jeter. He was a Bulls fan with Jordan, self-explanatory, won the 6 titles in the 90s. Also, he was a fan of the Dallas Cowboys. So it isn't a surprise that he's going to jump on a flagship organization, that's known for winning, even though they're on tough times. It is a reclamation project. They got Lonzo Ball, they got Kuzma, to name a few. So they got a pretty talented young team there. But I definitely think he'll make an impact. Will I think he'll overtop the Warriors this year? Absolutely not. But you never know, in 3 or 4 years, LeBron himself is a walking billboard. Wherever he goes to, he'll convince anybody to come to whatever team he's going to. So, and you could clearly see that. He got Rondo to go over there. They refused Cousins to go there. As a result, he went to the Warriors, which, that team is stacked. Like, it's a superhero team. It's like the Justice League or the Legion of Doom right there. So, maybe in like 3 or 4 years, maybe LeBron could overtake the Warriors at that point, possibly. But as of right now, Lakers are gonna just fall to the Warriors, in the foreseeable future. But with that said, these are the greatest Lakers of all time. And in my opinion, in order for LeBron to even have a chance to crack the top 20 on this list, much less this starting 5 players, and 2 honorable mentions, he's going to have to, there's only one way he could do that, and that's winning a dynasty. It's not just winning a title. Winning a title, it's gonna put him on the list. But great players who've won a title with the Lakers. But In all actuality, in order for him to be an elite all-time Laker, he's got to win a dynasty. It's simply put. If he doesn't win that title, that dynasty, and or at least stay with the Lakers past his contract, close to 10 years, having this type of level of performance, then he could crack this list. Other than that, having a dynasty, and or playing for the Lakers for 10 years, there's no way he's gonna be an all-time Laker. But with that said, let's just dive into the list. My top Lakers, and I'm gonna start it off at point guard, number 32, Irvin Magic Johnson. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. He's the greatest Laker of all time. Won 5 titles, and his performances in the NBA Finals are legendary. So, especially battling his very good friend Larry Bird on the Celtics in the 80s. I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. So with that said, Magic Johnson is the best Laker, simply put. And then next on the list would be somebody who definitely epitomized Lakers. When you think of Lakers back in the days, even before Magic, you think of number 44, shooting guard, actually a combo guard, and that would be the logo, Jerry West. And if you know NBA basketball, Jerry West, he's had epic battles with the Celtics, epic battles with the Knicks, and he has a title to show for it in '72. So, I mean, simply put, this guy, him and Goodrich was like such an unbeatable duo. Elgin Baylor, he didn't get that title, until he retired in '72. But I'm gonna mention a little something about Baylor on this list, so stay tuned on that. So my shooting guard, would be Jerry West. Obviously he played point and shooting guard during his career, but that's the guy who I put for shooting guard. So my next one, I'm going contemporary here, and of course I'm going with number 8 and 23, and that is of course Kobe Bryant. And he's playing a little out of position in this list. He's a shooting guard as well as Jerry West, but in good conscience I couldn't take out Jerry West out of this list, because I mean he's meant so much to the game of basketball, and especially the Lakers. So Jerry West and Kobe Bryant are both on this list. So Kobe Bryant's gonna play small forward. He's playing a little out of position, but hey, this is my list, and Kobe and Jerry West had to be on this list, so I had to make a little adjustment on that one. So, of course, Kobe won the 5 titles, 3 with Shaq, and then after Shaq, he won the other 2 titles. And, he epitomized being a Laker. He was the Derek Jeter equivalent of basketball. He spent his entire career with one franchise and won 5 titles, just like Tom Brady with the Patriots. So those 3 guys are very synonymous within their respective sports. So clearly Kobe Bryant had to be on this list. And then you have number 33 for power forward, and that's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, another guy who's playing out of position. Obviously he's a legendary center. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won a title with the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks. He was very known for the hook shot, and of course he won titles with the Lakers as multiple times as a player. I think he won 5 as a player, and 2 as assistant coach under Phil Jackson. So I mean, and he's the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game. So clearly this guy, he had to be on the list. And my top spot for center, this was the biggest, trickiest one I had to do, because clearly you saw I had to put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at power forward. So yeah, this was this is what I was wrestling in my mind for the past couple of days. Who should be the top center? Should it be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Should it be Wilt Chamberlain, who's obviously it's the name speaks for itself, or my pick, George Mikan, Mr. Basketball. I'm going really old school here, and I know this is the one that a lot of people are gonna most likely disagree with me on this one, but the reason why I put George Mikan on this list is because this guy epitomized basketball. He was the first official star of the NBA, and after he played his first, career, his rookie year, with Chicago American Gears, I think was the name of the team. He spent his entire career with the Minneapolis Lakers, and he won at least I think 7 titles altogether. I think he won he won a BAA, an NB. I think he won two two NBLs and then 5 BAAs and slash NBA titles. So he won 7 titles altogether, and he was the first official star of the NBA. He epitomized what a center was, and when he passed away in, I believe, 99, Shaq, he paid his dues, literally and figuratively speaking, and paid for his funeral. So George Mikan, legendary center, a guy who changed the game forever. So with that said, let me recap that Magic is the starting point guard. Jerry West is the starting shooting guard. Kobe is the small forward playing out of position. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is playing power forward. He's playing out of position. And center is George Mikan. Now my honorable mentions. Elgin Baylor is one of them. This guy, he epitomized the Lakers, in the 60s and 70s. Unfortunately for him, he didn't win a title as a player, but technically he did get a title because after he retired in 72, I think he played about 9 games. They gave him the 72 title after the Lakers defeated the New York Knicks that year. So he got the ring, but he didn't technically get the ring as an active player. So with that said, Elgin Baylor, he's had phenomenal performances. I think he scored 71 points against the Knicks at one point. He epitomized what a Laker is. He's a tough, gritty player. So I left them out of the list. So I could put Kobe and Jerry West in the starting lineup. So he was a casualty, and then another casualty would be number 13, Wilt Still Chamberlain, and obviously Wilt Still Chamberlain, man, he's an icon. He's arguably the most dominant center. It's between him and Kareem. Two-way. Center. You would put Bill Russell on that list as 3 of the 3 top greatest centers of all time. Bill Russell would be the greatest offensive center. Obviously, he never played for the Lakers. He's a Celtic, so he's out of this equation. But when it comes to those are the 3 top players. And Wilt Chamberlain is arguably the greatest scorer out of the 3 of them. Kareem is pretty close, but the fact of the matter is Kareem had a longer time with the Lakers than Chamberlain did, and obviously Chamberlain won a title previously, before he went to the Lakers in '67. I think he won it with 76ers against the Warriors, his former Warriors team, because he played for the Philadelphia Warriors, and then the Warriors went to San Francisco, and of course the Warriors are now known as the Golden State Warriors. So, basically Walter Still Chamberlain was also famous for scoring 100 points against the aforementioned New York Knicks in Pennsylvania. Scored 100 points. That game is allegedly not televised, and he just destroyed the Knicks that day. So, I mean, Walter Still Chamberlain, I mean, he's a beast. Averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds a season. So, I mean, he's definitely deserving of being on the starting lineup of any list. But since this was specifically Lakers and not, all-time greatest NBA players, he was left out. So, had he spent a little bit more time with the Lakers, won a little bit more titles, he would have been on that list. But, out of respect for Mike and paving the way for those guys, and what Mike and meant at that time period for the Lakers organization, I had to make that controversial pick. And for a little side note, I would pick Pat Riley to coach over Phil Jackson or even John Kundla, who was the manager, who was the head coach of Mike and's teams. So basically, it's your pick. So I know this was a controversial discussion. Who's the greatest Lakers of all time? So let me know what you think. Did I get it right? Was I wrong? Do you think LeBron will join this list, knock somebody off, like any of these guys off this list, like Kobe or West? Just let me know. Let me know what you think. So with that, I'm William Rameau, and I'll see you guys next time. So don't forget to subscribe, like it, share it, comment, and just let your thoughts be known. So again, I'm William Rameau, and I'll see you guys next time.